here we are again with the Model 99 lever action. This time, got a few more screws to take out to pull the barrel out of the action, the forestock off the barrel and all of that. The barrel is about as much rust as it is bluing. It's starting to get like a blue-brown plum color, so it's getting kind of funky. Besides, where somebody scratched paint off the wall on the barrel and all that kind of thing. So I've got to get all that off. So the bluing takes about a week to actually polish the metal and clean that up, and then you use bluing and rust remover first. Then I polish it from 400 to 2500 grit with emery paper and get the metal nice and shiny and clean it, rinse it and dry it and all of that again. Then you got to do that 8 more friggin' times on average to get a nice cold bluing job. Some say mine is some of the best cold bluing I've ever seen, so let's hope there's not a lot of impurities in the metal on this 1965 barrel to it won't show through when I shine it up. I'll try to get a nice smooth even shine, because then it looks kind of like factory, only better in my experiences with restoring and Resto modding vintage Crosmans. So without further ado, let's hit it.
Okay, I used a 1/8 inch standard screwdriver to take that one forestock screw out of the middle hole right there. And it looks like it's in really darn good shape. It fits pretty deep in that recess. And here I used a 3/16 inch screwdriver to take the 2 left side receiver screws out that secure the barrel in the other side of the receiver. It's secured on both sides, so that I could take that adjuster wheel out that pushes the CO2 cartridge into the piercing pin in the valve I showed you putting in last time. Take that out so you can get that tight fitting stock out of there.
Okay, after taking the 2 screws out of the other side of the receiver, like I showed, there's 2 screws that go in here, and these same holes are on the other side that you have to screw this in and out to line up with on the bottom there too. And one screw I showed you goes 1 forestock screw. There's the front, obviously. Let you have a little look at that. And that star-shaped wheel thing is what you use to tighten the CO2 cartridge in there and pierce it on the thing that's on the part that's in here. The little washer with the piercing pin I showed you when I rebuilt the valve. And that nut, the shaft goes in there, and the nut sits, you can see where the nut sits against the end of the stock right there. I still think that's elm, but boy, that's some really nice. The grain figuring's finer on this one, say, versus the elm on the Model 700 there, the model number 70 Pell gun there, or the 160 Pell gun above it right there. But anyway, you can always tell elm because it's the grain character, the grain lines, rings, whatever, on elm are more flowing, unlike, say, white oak, pin oak and the like, which is more like the fingerprints on your fingers. It's got a more set pattern like. Okay, anyway, here is the part that goes up in here from that side for the forestock screw, and the barrel is now loose. Where I got it marked there is about where I'm going to stop with polishing and bluing and all of that. And that's not a split, that's just rust. See what I'm saying? You can see it standing up right there. And that's about as much bluing as rust. That looks terrible, so I'm just going to go ahead and redo it. This fits real tight on a groove right up in here. So you use a rubber or plastic mallet, or the hide mallet that's got the varnish soaked into it, so you can tap it back and forth till it sits the way it's supposed to. I don't need it, but it's handy, you know. And get some of this stuff on film once again. Just there's like 3 rods in there, and I think this was the one that goes back and forth, and that one moves with the camera or something. It's really weird how that works. I can't really show you because you got to have both pieces to hold the whole mess together. It went flying that way and pulled 2 pellets out of the breech. Oh yeah, see if I can line that up for you. I was just going to say, it came out of the plastic thing right here that knuckles out and lines up with the magazine here, and then knuckles back in to line up with the breech here. Oops, sorry. I don't want to mess up my lens. I'm just trying to focus. Real fine rifling. It's a really nice looking rifling on that barrel. Okay. Got some Brownell's 1 3/8 inch woven patches here I use for cleaning the 25 cals and wiping down the outside with Rem oil and all that. A small screwdriver to take the front sight off, but the screw is like right under the edge of this sight tube thing. I got to use that rubber and plastic mouth there to tap that off before I can get the screw out. And glue and rust remover, and there's maybe 1/8 of an inch on the bottom. I thought I still had plenty of it. I should have checked when I started taking the gun apart, so by the time I actually got to the point where I could start the bluing process on the barrel, I would already have it coming in. It'd be nice if the cleaner degreaser and that glue and rust remover would come in quart bottles like the Perma Blue does. I use a lot of the stuff. Quart bottles would be better for me at this point. But we'll get to it. Okay, that pocket screwdriver is a little small for that screw right there. So I used the Crosman 1/8 inch. So when you see me showing the writing on the side, I'm showing how big the blade on the end is, so you know which screwdriver to use. There's the slot that goes over the little groove right there by the front sight. See if we can get a better look at that. Not much of a groove there to look at, but it's there. I don't know why Crosman always drills those holes all the way through, and you gotta put a screw in there with the sight or whatever to block the hole. And like back here, you got these spacers with screw holes around them and all over them, where everything, where the receiver, halves on the barrel, and all this other stuff just bolt right together. It becomes one solid piece when it's all together. It's a nice thick barrel too. Just a little comparison here. One of the pocket screwdrivers I could get at the auto parts store. Okay, well, that used bit of bluing and rust remover I had left wasn't good enough. It took some of the bluing off, but didn't really get the embedded rust out like it's supposed to. So you can see here there's a lot of rust under that bluing that was inside the rifle, so that part of that bluing's okay. I'm going to leave that, because the receiver only comes to about right there. See where that clean line is? But I'll glue it back to here so you can't see a seam or nothing. I just can't find anybody that's got this stuff. Cabela's had some, but they're out of stock. And you can't get it in anything more than a 3-ounce bottle, and that's $8 a pop. But anyway, I gotta do the front sights too. I got that in a parts bag right there with the seal, separate bag of seals and junk like that. So it's pretty rusty right where the sight screws on too. Just like the metal chrome trim on the old cars was kind of like riveted in place or screwed in, and mud and dirt and dust would get under there, and it would soak up water. That's where the car would rust. So that's why they started using stick-on plastic chrome stripping. But anyway, that's where the barrel's at right now. I got to get some more chemicals. Okay, now I remember to press the record button. Anyway, I used some odorless mineral spirits, which isn't exactly odorless. I can smell it. Get that at Walmart and other fucking up yourself stores, you know. So I had oiled this thing a couple of times before and I soak in, dry, and cure, whatever you want to call it. And I wiped it down with mineral spirits real good, and then dried that with a soft cloth. So it's a little lighter. Here's some scratches there, showing a little bit more obvious now. And let this, I can still smell it. I let it dry, because I won't be getting it for a few days, maybe a week, because I won't be getting the Birchwood Casey bluing and rust remover until Tuesday. It was going to be Wednesday, but nobody locally had it, so I had to order it. Darn it. Anyway, you can see the grain character in that elm a lot better. Just starting to glow like it's got a little bit of life left in it. Yeah, baby. Bring you back to life. Who knows what movie that came from. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. So this stuff definitely does the job. You can use this with a toothbrush after using citrus strip or something to, you know, clean a stock that's got checkering on it and all that, like I did with 95. And use this in a toothbrush, or those things are sort of double-ended toothbrushes you get for cleaning small tight areas of your rifle with, and this stuff, and you can clean the checkering out. Okay, the bluing and rust remover came in the post today, so, and I finally found these digging around to find a missing pack of stamps. I sent out the check for the RWS 320M today. I dug out that. These are 3-inch patches here. And some gloves. I've got a couple boxes of those. There's where we're at with the barrel right now. The other stuff had been used once, but was still pretty clean. I tried to use it again, and well, close but no cigar. So we will get to work on this here. You just soak one of these 3-inch pads here with some glue and rust remover, and you rub it on there, and then it slowly soaks in and pulls the rust off. It'll leave the pitting, but the gluing and rust comes off. You'll see when I'm done with that. I just don't want to burn a ton of time showing you guys second by second. Get a seal pick out on that, but you can see this much rust thoroughly mixed with some of the bluing. I can't get it off just rubbing it on. I have to put it in something and soak it, and it would take it off. But you can see up through this way, you got most of it. And just what was on my left hand glove, got all the way back there and did that. Now this slides around, turns around, everything. The two holes go on the sides in between these two rear sight holes right there. You can see there on the left side, you can see where the outline where the front sight base was. This stuff for some reason won't come off. It must be paint somebody put on there to touch it up that looked close or something. Okay, here's the bottom. He's pretty good through there. It typically does. This little threaded tube thing goes down into the forestock. See him dang leaves blowing around out there, and sometimes you think it's a rabbit running by. Once in a while it is. Sometimes the fox squirrels and the chipmunks will be chasing their rabbits and blue jays out. Blue jays try to bogart everything and say, ah, motherfucker, not today. Okay, as I said, here it is sideways. Overall, it looks pretty good, but as I said, I'll start with 400 grit and work my way up to 2,500. That's going to wear me out for a couple of days. Getting this all, getting this all done. And here is the right side of the barrel. Oh boy, you can see where my work's going to be. Well, we'll get her done. It's going to look, I guarantee you, this thing's going to look really nice when it's done. Might try some of the cleaner degreaser on the stock too, even though it's made from metal. I might try it on a little spot on the stock and see if I can get some more dirt out of that doggone thing, the dirt oil and whatever, so I can get the get some true oil on there. It makes the grain show up better. Just one light quick coat of true oil seals the surface, and like on the Striker 1000X Super Grade there, that's like 5 coats. That's all that's on that thing too. That's Turkish walnut. Anywho, we'll get on this and get that all cleaned up, and then it's gonna take a while to degrease it, rinse it, dry it, and then to me stand it in front of a heater I got under the table there and put 8 coats of bluing on there, because between coats of bluing you have to rinse and dry and not wait too long, because it'll start to rust if you don't get oil on it, and you can't because you're still bluing it. So you rinse, dry, and repeat. My fingers are feeling kind of tingly. That acid started working its way through the gloves. Before the gloves deteriorate, you could feel your fingers getting warm. Okay, I'm going to use a Dremel and these stainless steel wire wheels. Clean up the bluing that wouldn't come off. I think it's more like paint. It won't take plain rust off. The rust has to be mixed with bluing, and the real heavy stuff it didn't this time. I'm kind of surprised. So we'll clean her up. Usually gives a 600 grit sheen, so we'll see. I also got the rest of the bag over here. I buy them about a dozen a piece on Amazon, I think it was. So got an extra power strip here too, so plugged into one of the two down under the desk. That's going to go over on that side because the plug-in is under the corner there, so I can clear all this off eventually and be able to work on that thing, work on that table. I could have the plug-in for the power tools right there. And here's what it looks like now. Closer in here. At least I got a lot of that, got the rust off, and we'll polish the rest of the pitting out slow but sure. Decent chamfer on the barrel anyway. And this is what these look like as you go along. They start fragging apart and slinging them wires at you 100 miles an hour at like 30-40,000 RPM. It's like if a porcupine could shoot its quills. Gets in your skin like fiberglass. And here's a Dremel I use with the speed control built in nowadays. This is the third. Yeah, this is the third one I've had. I wore these things out, porting and polishing heads and stuff. And here we'll turn it upside down once. See, it's getting a nice shine here and there, just to start with. And I got to take, this has got a set screw in it right there. And I got to unscrew this one and get this one off because I can't get that to move. I flared it a little on the outer edges there. I got to hit that with a machine file and polish it again, but not a big deal. I'm good with a file. Okay, well, I sanded it down to right about here with 400 grit emery paper. And took those two sliding things, so I can't get this one off. And I broke that in half trying to get that out so I could slide it off. I just sanded it down real good with 400 up here. That's going to be up inside by about that far. So you won't really see that. Well, I'll still polish up real nice and everything, but this last 3/16 of an inch or so, won't really have to worry about that. So I use painter's tape on that, and we'll continue on. That is shinier there, even if it's uneven, than this here, which was done with 400 paper rather than a wire wheel on the rest of it to clean the rust off. But it will be smooth. You can see it's a smoother shine. Just a lot of little pits in there from the rust. So we'll have to work those out. And just a little FYI, when I'm sanding it, I put it over the butt of my hand there, under my thumb, and press like that, and it'll go back and forth, because the tool marks go around this way. So you sand it to polish it this way, and take those little machining grooves out while you're at it. Okay, I thought I'd show you guys what it looks like after being sanded with 400 grit emery paper. This is my last piece too. Got plenty of 600 though, so we'll do 600 next, then 800, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, and then 2,500. Won't bother showing you all of them. I just wanted to. That's the top of the barrel there. The other ring over here goes between these two to bolt to the receiver halves, as does the one in the back there. Line everything up, you know, with that little knuckle loader thing. And so that being the top of the barrel, you'll see a good length of that. Trying to, oops, touching the barrel there, trying to get real close. There's some pits like that. Of course, that's going to be hidden, so you won't see that. But that pitting there, I can minimize it, but it's too deep. I have to actually machine that to get it off and run a buffer over it. It was really rusty right there, but like I said, I could even that out enough to where you basically won't be able to see it unless you're really looking for it. You know, if you're me, the artist knows where his mistakes are. So anyway, coming along nicely, and I might even break out my slot car stuff and see if I got enough silver solder left to clamp that together with some needle nose or something, and then solder it from the outside so the super glue doesn't squeeze on the inside and fill up the threads and everything where it won't go through. Gotta be careful of that stuff. And here is the bottom of the barrel. That goes in the center of the forestock, so you won't see it past about right there on the bottom. I'll try to get it looking as good as I can anyway. Just wish I wouldn't have broke that thing. It's dang cheap metal. Take two. And this is after 2500 grit. 400 to 2500. Got that metal all polished up nice. You can see there's a little bit of pitting with the pitting, as is becoming obvious now. Get that thing stuck on my finger. Is drastically minimized. Look at the shine on that metal, will you? It's all hand polishing. So that's it for this week. See you next time when we actually go to blue the barrel and hang it up to cure for a week, and then move on to the internals in the receiver and show you what to do with that. So, good Lord willing, the creeks don't rise. We'll see you again right here.